On a bright Friday morning, the city was waking up to the promise of a new day. Sunlight streamed through the tree-lined streets of the Upper East Side, casting long shadows on the sidewalks and glinting off the windows of brownstones and high-rises alike. The Upper East Side buzzed with its usual energy. Commuters hurried to the subway, dog walkers strolled past coffee shops, and the hum of traffic blended with the distant sound of children heading to school. The date was August 15th, 2025, a day that began like any other, with the city's routines unfolding in perfect rhythm. In an apartment building at 305 East 95th Street, residents were starting their day, unaware of the danger above. Some were making breakfast, others getting ready for work, and a few enjoying a quiet moment with their morning coffee. Suddenly, just before 10 o'clock, a loud pop echoed from the rooftop. It was sharp and unexpected, cutting through the city's background noise. At first, it seemed like just another city noise, until a thin wisp of smoke curled into the sky. It was subtle, almost easy to miss, but it caught the attention of a few early risers. The smoke quickly thickened, darkening the clear blue morning. What started as a faint trail soon became a dark, ominous cloud, visible from blocks away. People on the street stopped, looking up in alarm as the smell of smoke drifted through the neighborhood. Conversations paused, and a sense of unease spread as more and more eyes turned skyward. Inside, residents noticed the commotion and the growing scent of burning. Some peered out their windows, others checked their hallways, trying to understand what was happening. The building's superintendent, busy in the basement with routine repairs, was still unaware of the crisis unfolding above his head. He had no idea that within moments, his role would become critical. The fire had started quietly, but it would soon test the courage of many. Flames crept through hidden spaces, and the threat grew with every passing second. Neighbors called for help, and sirens began to wail in the distance. The sound grew louder, signaling that help was on the way, but also that the situation was serious. The smoke billowed high, a visible alarm for everyone nearby. It was impossible to ignore now, an urgent call for action that reached far beyond the building itself. This was the beginning of a serious event that would require the city's bravest. Firefighters from across Manhattan rushed to the scene, ready to face the unknown. The story of this fire is about quick action, bravery, and a community coming together. In the face of danger, ordinary people and first responders would unite, showing the true spirit of New York City. The fire didn't start in a kitchen, where most people expect danger to lurk in a home, nor did it begin in a living room, bedroom, or any of the usual places. Instead, it began in a spot few ever think about, the roof, high above the city streets. Rooftops in cities like Manhattan are crowded with all sorts of equipment: HVAC units, electrical boxes, satellite dishes, and sometimes even leftover construction materials. All of these can become fuel for disaster if something goes wrong. On this particular morning, a single spark, possibly from a faulty wire or an overloaded circuit, jumped from a piece of electrical equipment. That tiny spark was all it took to ignite a small, almost invisible flame. The breeze that day was gentle, but it was enough. The fire quickly found fuel in the tar that sealed the roof and the wooden beams beneath. In moments, the flames began to spread, growing larger and more dangerous with every passing second. Rooftop fires are especially hazardous. The wind at that height can whip flames across the surface, making them move faster than anyone expects. And because the fire is so high up, it's much harder for firefighters to reach and control. The first sign for many residents wasn't smoke or flames, but a loud, sharp pop, the sound of the fire breaking through its first barrier, beginning its destructive journey. Soon, flames leaped high above the building, visible from blocks away. Pedestrians on the street could feel the heat radiating down, and the sight of fire on a rooftop sent a wave of alarm through the neighborhood. The fire wasn't contained to one spot. It crept along hidden pathways, under vents, around obstacles, searching for anything else it could consume. Because it started on the roof, the fire had a dangerous head start. Most residents below had no idea anything was wrong until the situation was already critical. For many, the first warning was thick, dark smoke drifting past their windows, a terrifying sight that signaled real danger. Firefighters rushed to the scene, but faced a unique and daunting challenge: getting heavy hoses and equipment all the way up to the roof, often through narrow stairwells or up ladders, while the fire raged above. The fire's rooftop origin set the stage for a fierce and complicated battle, with crews working against time, wind, and the ever-growing flames. As fire trucks arrived and firefighters prepared for the fight ahead, the emergency was only just beginning, and the outcome was far from certain. Fires always seek a way to spread, searching for the smallest cracks, the tiniest gaps, and any hidden passage that will let them move from one space to another. In the chaos of a burning building, fire can be both relentless and unpredictable, finding routes that are invisible to the untrained eye. In this case, the fire found a secret route, one that most residents never even knew existed: the cockloft, a concealed space just beneath the roof. The cockloft, an attic-like void above the top-floor apartments, became a perfect tunnel for the flames to travel. This space, often filled with old insulation, dust, and wooden beams, is rarely visited or inspected, making it a hidden danger in many older buildings. Once inside the cockloft, the fire moved with alarming speed, feeding on the dry wooden beams and debris. It spread horizontally, racing above the apartments, out of sight and out of reach of sprinklers or alarms. Soon, the flames broke through ceilings and walls, bursting into 3 penthouse apartments almost simultaneously. The residents below had no warning until smoke and heat began pouring into their homes. Residents on the top floor suddenly faced fire inside their homes, with thick smoke filling hallways and making escape even more dangerous. Panic set in as people rushed to find a way out. Cockloft fires are notoriously tough to fight. Hidden from view, they force firefighters to search for the source, often working in blinding smoke and intense heat. Attacking these fires requires a coordinated effort from above and below. Firefighters had to cut holes in the roof and break through apartment ceilings, risking collapse and injury, just to reach the flames and stop them from spreading further. The fire's hidden path turned what started as a rooftop blaze into a much bigger threat, endangering the entire building and everyone inside. Residents evacuated quickly, many leaving everything behind. The fear and confusion in those moments are hard to describe, as people realize how fast fire can move through hidden spaces. The cockloft allowed the fire to threaten a large part of the building, putting dozens of families at risk and making the job of firefighters even more urgent. When firefighters arrived, they knew they faced a major challenge. Every second counted as they raced to contain the blaze and protect lives. They had to stop the fire before it spread further. The battle was on, and the hidden path of the fire made every move critical. As soon as the first calls came in, the FDNY sprang into action. Sirens filled the air as fire trucks raced to 305 East 95th Street. The first crews saw thick smoke and flames and immediately called for backup, a 3-alarm fire. Streets were closed off, giving firefighters space to work. Over 100 firefighters and emergency workers arrived, each with a specific job. Their first priority, evacuate everyone inside. Firefighters knocked on doors, guiding residents to safety through smoke-filled halls. Police helped block streets and keep crowds safe. FDNY leaders coordinated the attack, sending teams to the roof and inside the building. The response was swift and organized, a comfort to worried neighbors. The city's bravest were on the scene. To fight a fire this size, firefighters needed massive amounts of water. Hoses were connected to hydrants, channeling water up to the roof. Ladder trucks extended high, spraying powerful streams onto the flames. This exterior attack cooled the fire and slowed its spread. Inside, teams dragged heavy hoses up flights of stairs, battling smoke and heat. Firefighters crawled low, spraying water on fire, breaking through ceilings. They pulled down parts of the ceiling to reach hidden flames in the cockloft. Communication was key. Teams inside and outside worked together by radio. The two-sided attack slowly gained ground. Black smoke turned white, a sign the water was winning. The battle was exhausting, but the firefighters pressed on. Their teamwork and determination began to pay off. The flames started to retreat. Fighting this fire was dangerous, and the firefighters showed true courage. 3 firefighters were injured, reminders of the risks they faced daily. The building superintendent, caught in the basement, was also hurt while helping with the evacuation. All injuries were minor thanks to quick action and training. Firefighters wear heavy gear, climb stairs, and work in extreme heat and smoke. Their focus and teamwork are essential in chaos. Hours of hard work ensured the fire was out and everyone was safe. These heroes don't seek praise, but their bravery saved lives. Thanks to their efforts, a greater tragedy was avoided. all residents were evacuated safely. The community was grateful for their dedication. The city's bravest lived up to their name. In crisis, the Upper East Side's community spirit shone. Neighbors opened their doors to evacuees, offering shelter and comfort. Local businesses brought food and water for firefighters and displaced families. Strangers became friends, united by the emergency. The support was both physical and emotional. People shared information and reassurance. Organizations like the Red Cross arrived, helping families find shelter and support. The neighborhood became a network of care. These acts of kindness made a big difference. The community's response created a safety net for those affected. No one faced the aftermath alone. With the fire out, the next step was finding its cause. FDNY fire marshals, experts in fire investigation, took over. They examined the roof looking for clues, burn patterns, wiring, debris. Witnesses and firefighters were interviewed to piece together the timeline. Every detail mattered. The investigation was slow and thorough. Finding the cause brings closure for residents and helps prevent future fires. Lessons learned from this fire could protect others. The investigation was ongoing, requiring patience from the community. Fire marshals' work is vital for public safety. Their findings would help shape recovery and prevention. The search for answers was the final chapter of the emergency. Recovery could now begin. The fire left behind damage and disruption, especially in the penthouse apartments. Families faced the challenge of rebuilding their lives and homes. But the most important thing, no lives were lost. Thanks to quick evacuation and the FDNY, everyone survived. Minor injuries were treated, and recovery began. The event highlighted the value of fire safety and preparedness. The story became one of resilience, neighbors, organizations, and first responders working together. The building would be repaired and life would return. The memory of the fire would serve as a reminder of community and courage. Emergencies reveal the best in people: bravery, kindness, and unity. The Upper East Side faced darkness, but hope and teamwork led the way. Together, the community would rise from the ashes.